heating S and Y plan heating systems. So the key aims for this part of the session, I want you all to be able to list some of the key facts about the various systems that we're going to look at in this session. Identify diagrams of S and Y plan systems, particularly looking at the valve symbols and the pipe layout. Describe whether each of the systems would allow water to flow to both circuits, the hot water and heating circuit, at the same time, or if they give priority to one circuit, and there's only one system that will give priority to one circuit. Okay, so introduction. Our layouts that we're going to look at are pumped heating only, S-plan, which has got two 2-port valves, Y-plan, which would have one mid-position 3-port valve, or C-plan, which is also known as semi-gravity. It's got pumped heating and gravity hot water. The water flows around the hot water side by convection. Let's firstly look at pumped heating only. Essentially, a pumped heating only system is exactly what it says in the tin. It's a system in which the water is pumped and it only goes to the heating side. There is no hot water. S-plan systems would have two 2-port valves. You can see the picture of the 2-port valve on the left here, and the diagram of the S-plan system on the right hand side there with our two zone valves, one going off to the hot water side, one going off to the heating side, and so we can simultaneously feed both of these with hot water. We can heat up the hot water and we can heat up the heating system both at the same time. These valves can both be open at the same time, and water will be pumped through both circuits. Generally speaking, we'd use S-plan or S-plan plus systems for larger properties, those over 150 metres squared of floor area. S-plan plus is exactly like an S-plan system, except the only difference is it would have more than two 2-port valves. It could 3, 4, 5 2-port valves, each for an individual circuit. Normally you'd have one zone for the hot water circuit, and then you could have various other zones, potentially a zone for an underfloor heating circuit, a zone going to radiators, lots of different zones. Best for larger houses or commercial buildings. So interestingly, actually most properties these days will be, if they do have an S-plan system, would be S-plan plus, because there's a requirement in Part L to split the living area and the sleeping area into different zones. So it could also be good if a property's got underfloor heating and radiator circuits. So obviously underfloor heating takes a long time to heat up, so sometimes you might have it might be combined with radiators as well to give you that initial sort of heat up time, and then the underfloor heating would be then used to keep the temperature at a comfortable level. So very quickly look at S-plan plus here. We can see on the S-plan system on the left here, we have a zone here for our hot water, we have a zone here for our heating, we have one thermostat, which is going to room thermostat, which is going to control the whole of the heating circuit here. You look at this S-plan plus system here, we can see we've got each radiator has been zoned, and you'd have a separate thermostat for each circuit essentially. Y-plan would be fully pumped with a mid-position valve. This is a picture of a mid-position valve here, 3-port zone valve, and it can allow the water to flow to both the heating and the hot water circuit at the same time. There's a ball inside there which would stop in the middle. The water would flow in and to both circuits simultaneously. Worth noting that the flow from the pump or from a boiler, however you want to describe it, would go into the centre port, port AB, and then generally speaking we'd have the hot water circuit going from port B and the heating circuit going from port A. Good way to remember it, if you think hot water comes out of the bath, B for bath, so B is our hot water circuit, A is our heating circuit. Okay. Very briefly look at W-plan. It's not likely to be something that we're going to come across. It shouldn't really be installed anymore. This has got a diverter valve in there. A diverter valve, essentially, we've got mid-position diverter valves and diverter valves. A diverter valve just on its own would give priority always to the hot water circuit. And as soon as the hot water side has been satisfied, it would then allow water to flow into the heating side. So the W-plan with a diverter valve would give priority to the hot water. All of the other circuits we're going to look at would equally allow the water to flow to both circuits at the same time. So all the systems we've looked at so far, fully pumped, they would need all of the parts that we need to provide interlock, which we've talked about already. So appropriate time control, normally a programmer, temperature control, thermostats, which would be thermostat and room stat as appropriate. Obviously, like I talked about earlier, if it's an S-Plan Plus system, it should have a room stat for each circuit. And thermostatic radiator valves in all rooms apart from the room or rooms in the case of an S-Plan Plus system with the room stat. Okay, obviously it should have a pump, boiler, motorised valves, etc. so the system works as efficiently as it can do. Now we're going to look at the only one which isn't fully pumped, which is the C-Plan system. Again, shouldn't be fitted from new, but it's something we need to be aware of. C-Plan system, also known as a semi-gravity system, would have the heating side pumped and the hot water circuit would go around via gravity, or we call it convection. Okay. Worth noting, the flow and return pipes would be much larger on the hot water circuit, 28 mil is a minimum, to allow that water to flow as easily around the circuit as possible. And now it is time for your task.